to the next episode of Coffee and Histology, where we're going to be looking at arteries and veins to see why they're actually different from each other. So here we have an artery, here we have a vein, and arteries will always look rounded on the histology slide, where veins do not look rounded. So this vein is sort of more amorphic, and that's because the tunica media here on the artery is a lot thicker than the tunica media on the vein, so when it's empty, it helps it hold its shape better. Arteries and veins both share three tunics. They have a tunica intima right here, tunica externa or externa, or adventita right there, and then a media. And this is going to be different from the other histology slides. This muscular layer we're calling the media, and all the other histology slides will be called a muscularis. But the muscularis has cells going in at least two different directions, where this, it's only one. Now, what we can't really see on this artery is there's actually layers between the intima and media and externa. So if we went down a little bit, we have these lamina right here of elastic tissue called the internal elastic lamina. And look how nice and round this artery is. And then we have the external elastic lamina there. Unfortunately, with this slide, the connective tissue is sort of the same color. We're going to be drawing both the artery and the vein. And notice how the media is thicker on the artery than the vein. And they both have this externa outside of them. So, let us begin. The artery is going to be circular because the tunica media helps it hold its shape. But the vein is going to be a little bit more amorphic because its media is not that thick. There. And we're going to label this tunica intima because this would be the lumen. Histology slide, you could sort of see this elastic lamina there and here, and maybe a little bit right there, but you can't see it all the way around. Here on the vein, the elastic tissue is sort of spread out throughout it, so we're going to put on that internal elastic lamina. Label it. The next layer is the tunica media, which is smooth muscle, and unlike other histology slides, the cells only go one direction. So this is going to be the tunica media of the artery. So it's nice and thick. Now the vein, it's a smaller tunica media, so we'll put that on using a smaller pen. The vein will have some elastic tissue in its media. Usually you can't really see it on the histology slides. On a proper preserved slide, you can see the media of the artery. I mean the elastic tissue on the artery. Now this is going to laminate it, it's going to encircle it or layer it. And this is called the external elastic lamina. Now, they're both surrounded by connective tissue. That's basically holding it together. And the artery tends to have more of this elastic tissue. So let's do a lot of it for the artery. Less for the vein. The vein's not under high pressure, so it doesn't need as much tissue surrounding it. And this is the tunica externa. I've seen externa as well. Or it's the adventita. The adventita is a connective tissue membrane around things, structures of the body, that are not part of a serous membrane. So you'd have it in the esophagus, in most of your blood vessels. So we're going to then label this external elastic lamina, or tunica externa. Lastly, we need to label them what they are. So this is an artery, and this is a vein. Now on the lab exam, I'm going to ask you to identify, is it an artery or a vein? And then I'm going to ask you to identify the tunics. Intima is blue, it's the inner one. Media is the middle one. And externa or adventita is the outer one. Thank you very much for attending this episode of Coffee and Histology. Have a good day.